just make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
Welcome in. Purple Daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. And every Wednesday on the show, we go through and hold each other accountable on this segment called Write That Down. The only show in America that actually keeps track of our predictions with statistics on both Purple Daily and over on Mackie and Judd, our other daily show. Boys, the show is presented by our friends at TCL. Redefine creativity with the TCL 30V 5G smartphone. Enjoy blazing fast 5G speed, an AI-powered 50-megapixel triple camera system, ultra-realistic true-to-life visuals powered by NextVision, and booming sound from the dual speakers. Learn more at TCL.com. Kind of feels like, by the way, and we'll explain how this works if you're new, and we'll get to our predictions here in the accountability session, but doesn't it kind of feel to you guys like we are in the eye of the NFL storm?
Oh, God, yeah.
The eye of the NFL offseason storm.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything's been kind of quiet on Vikings front. You know, Aaron Rodgers stuff has been kind of quiet. Lamar Jackson, but we've got a sprint here starting soon, leading up to the draft, and the schedule comes out. We're just like kind of chilling in the eye here.
Yeah, I feel like, especially right now, there's a lot more to come, and some of it will involve the Vikings. But yeah, no, I can feel the conversations from Egan and Green Bay and from New Jersey. They're all just sort of going around us, right? And they're not coming to fruition yet. But Eye of the Storm is a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, we're just kind of chilling here, waiting for it's like the perfect storm. That movie, they thought everything was fine, right?
Yeah, everyone dies, but yeah, spoiler alert.
Well, George Clooney, that's a true story. It's some sad stuff right there.
Yeah. It's a great movie.
It is a good movie, although it confirms my belief that I won't be on a ship or ever a voyage on a sea ever. I have no interest in that.
Yeah, it seems like cruises. I've never been a cruise guy. Of course, if a Carnival Cruises wants to advertise on Purple Daily, then the three of us will happily.
We'll wave that flag on the top of that cruise,
come sail the seas with me and my lovely wife, Dawn.
I love Yacht Rock, but from a safe distance from choppy waters.
From the dock.
Yes. Yeah. So anyhow, this is Write That Down. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. Those are the rules. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to be like Jeff, who's about to participate here as a guest listener predictor, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app. We'll get you scheduled for some time here in the near future. So, all right, boys, let's start with the accountability session. We have a couple of these across both shows, and I need your help deciding what to do with it.
Okay.
So, Judd, I'm going to bring this one. This has not been marked right or wrong yet. It's a prediction that we need to hash out here. You said there will be a credible report that the Vikings have discussed trading Kirk Cousins, and you put an end date by the end of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
This Mike Florio report that came out that he floated on Pro Football Talk Live, in which he said at the NFL Combine there were conversations happening among people in the league about a Kirk Cousins to San Francisco trade. He did not specify that those people were from the 49ers or the Vikings, just that people in the league, that it was like a conversation in league circles for 2 or 3 days at the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
Is that enough of a report to check this one off the board?
I'll go to the stand here in favor of Judd. Yes. There'll be a credible report that the Vikings have discussed trading Kirk Cousins. And that is exactly what Mike Florio said, that there was discussions about trading Kirk Cousins. So I think the verbiage and the Florio report is enough here that this would be a hit for Zulgad.
I think I agree with Declan.
Wow.
I think I agree. I was leaning that way, but I just wanted to see how you guys, Judd's going to fight for it, but sometimes Judd's honest and doesn't fight for it.
Want to put it to the listeners?
Well, we almost have to now because we put the Declan Aaron Rodgers one up. Even Judd and I were like adamantly against it. So let's do that. For the listeners, you tell us in the YouTube comment section or Twitter, however you want to hit us up. Should Judd get a point for this?
Yep.
Based on the Mike Florio report.
And I would make the case that I should, because while he didn't cite the two teams, he said it was coming from inside the league, which would
Inside the
I
house.
which I think would say that therefore there's talk that the Vikings in San Francisco have discussed this trade. It hasn't gotten out yet, but I got a tip from a person in the league, so it's not like another media insider.
It's definitely steam. It's heavy steam.
Yeah, I appreciate your support, but I do think that, yes, I do think this is a hit.
Okay. We'll see. We'll let the Purple Daily listeners, the faithful,
so we're going to come back
jury.
Untraditional WTD. We're going to come back to this as well.
Yeah, there's a similar one. I can't remember if it was you or me, but someone made a similar prediction on Purple Daily, or maybe it was. I legitimately can't remember.
So we'll just be with the same thing. So if I get my hit, oh my God, look at this.
Yeah, bow down to the king. It's been a rough season for me on Mackey and Judd. Write that down, but old Macadac is tossing the ball down the field with effectiveness here. I said a current signed Vikings player will remove Vikings references or photos from a social media account while still a member of the team. And I present to you guys here. Let me give myself the ding.
I saw this. Yes.
So there's an article here. I missed this in January, but there's an article from heavy.com that lays this out. 3-time Vikings Pro Bowler deletes all team photos from social media. Zadarius Smith scrubbed his Instagram account of all photos amid a potential defensive overhaul this offseason. So in his bio, he still says Purple People Eaters, but he did indeed delete every single photo, including photos of him in Vikings uniforms. And that would align with the verbiage of my prediction.
I thought you were referencing the fact we got a tweet from somebody this week that said Danielle Hunter had scrubbed his accounts.
So that's another one too.
Okay.
I couldn't find Danielle Hunter's Instagram account anymore.
Might have deleted it. Or made it private.
So technically, like, that would count too, because if he just deletes the entire account, then, he's deleted all the photos. So maybe it counts twice over. We got a couple,
that might not be the
elite
spirit.
edge rushers up in their feelings, apparently.
That might not be the spirit of your prediction, but the way that it's worded, it would be correct.
Well, the Zadarius one might be the spirit.
Oh, that's the spirit. No, I'm saying the Danielle one. If he deleted his account, I don't think that's what you meant, but I think with the way that you have brilliantly worded it, I think you're fine.
Yeah, thank you. It was brilliantly worded, yes.
Oh no.
And then old Todd. The Todd father came through for old Macadac.
He did. Woo.
I said at some point either Kuiper or McShay will mock a quarterback to the Vikings in the first round of the draft. Another deep ball touchdown there. 2 for 2. Listeners had nothing come off the board. Declan trying for his low-hanging fruit XFL predictions.
Damn it, Danucci.
Said Ben DiNucci, and I think you said Alex McCarron, or whatever you called him. AJ McCarron.
Wow.
Will accumulate at least 5 touchdowns, passing, rushing, receiving this week in the XFL. They came one short. 4.
McCarron had a nice day. Danucci, only with 1 touchdown. Danucci.
So with that, the listeners still without an incompletion. Small sample size. They've mostly pushed all their predictions into the season. So, but listeners are batting, or I should say, throwing 100% completions with 1 touchdown. Judd at 66.7%, 2 touchdowns. I'm at 54.5% with 2 touchdowns. Declan at 33.3%. Yet to put a touchdown on the board. But all time, Judd leads with a 35.5% completion percentage, just ahead of Declan at 35%. I'm at 32.9%, listeners at 23%. I have the touchdown lead all time with 35 touchdowns, listeners 28, Declan 23, Judd with 20. All right, let's get him in here. Let's get Jeff in the room. Our guest listener predictor. What's going on, Jeff?
Just living the dream in Austin, Texas, my man.
You got the St. Thomas swag on. Is it a Surly hat you're wearing right now?
You guys gave me this. I came up for the draft party last year. And, you guys swagged me out with a little T-shirt.
I love that.
You got the beautiful drink cart right within arm's reach here.
Yeah,
that's a great looking room. Like that is awesome.
What floor are we on here?
29th floor. So downtown Austin.
Nice deck out there.
And definitely come down.
Go outside on the deck with a drink, maybe kick your feet up. Oh, I love it.
We don't have Surly down here, so we need to work on that. But
No, we can. Maybe we can send Judd down there on a recon mission to hang out on your.
I'd
on
love
your
to go to
porch.
Austin. The
it's a great
festival.
time. If
Oh,
you like
yeah.
live music, this is the spot. So.
So Jeff, what's your background as a Vikings fan? What's your first like Vikings memory?
Grew up as a Vikings fan. I have pictures as a little kid in a Vikings snowmobile suit. My dad grew up in Wisconsin, but was smart enough to be a Vikings fan. But yeah, my first memory, actually specific memory, is draft related. I think it was 81, 82. You used to be able to listen to the draft on the radio before it was an ESPN thing and all that stuff. And I remember listening, and the Vikings had a pretty high pick, and Marcus Allen dropped into their lap. And they drafted Darren Nelson instead. And when asked, why did you draft Darren Nelson? They said, well, because he's a better pass catcher. Now, when Marcus Allen retired, he was the number one pass catching running back of all time.
Classic
So
Vikings.
even as a kid, I was like, oh, you guys drive me nuts.
These
Even you knew
idiots,
back
yeah.
then they're screwing it up.
Amazing. So, all right, well, let's do this. We're gonna go around the room 3 times, one prediction for each lap. We'll go Jeff, Judd, Declan, back to me. Jeff, you are under center. What is your first prediction, sir?
Writing things down.
Feel a little pressure now that I saw the listeners are batting 1,000 here.
Yeah, don't screw it up. Don't screw it up.
All right, so first, write that down. Kwesi, his background is as a commodities trader, so he's all about efficiencies and inefficiencies in the market. I think that's why he traded down last year. I think hopefully he learned his lesson. I think passing on Jamison Williams is going to be a huge mistake for this team, but write this down. I think that the Vikes are actually going to trade up in this draft, and they're going to draft either a quarterback, a wide receiver, or Bijan Robinson.
Wow.
Don't
Wow.
Bijan, because Cook's going to be traded, and they're going to get some draft capital, but KOC has made it clear the best way to help Jefferson is to run the ball. That's why they signed a blocking tight end. They re-signed Bradbury. They want to run the ball. And if you get Bijan right out of the gate, he's compared to Edgerrin James, Saquon Barkley. If you can get a guy like that in the mid to late teens, I could see them trading up. So to write that down is they're going to trade up for a quarterback, a receiver, or Bijan. So.
I love it, man.
Yeah, I think Daniel Jeremiah yesterday on McAfee called Bijan his third best prospect on the entire board. And that's rare for a running back these days.
Yeah, and so teams have to kind of decide, but he's a running back. Because you've seen, well, hell, we did the Randy and Cottage Grove / Walter football mock yesterday. We've seen him as high as fringe top 5, and we've seen him falling toward the end of the first round toward Buffalo. So who knows where that guy's going to go.
Learned looking at Saquon that the money can actually work for a first round back if they're a top 5 caliber, because you get 5 years of a rookie contract, and the Giants franchised Saquon was only like $10 million. So you can ride that running back for 7 years and then don't give him the big second contract and let him walk. So if you can get a top 5 caliber back, it's actually worth that first round draft capital. So
Yeah. Who's the good boy or good girl in the background?
Oh, that's Roddy. He's named after Roddy Piper.
Oh, that's awesome.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Oh, what a cute. Oh, yeah. Can tell that he stirs things up. No question about it.
Put a kilt on. Put a
He's
kilt
not
on.
getting attention
Roddy.
right now. I'm just
And they get really they start to pout.
Piper did that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Stella
All right, Jeb,
does the same
what's your first prediction?
Okay, I'm not going to buy into this because there's too much steam around Hendon Hooker. So I'm not going to buy into this. I'm going to call BS right now. Hendon Hooker will not go in the first round of the draft. I'm getting suspicious.
That was my.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm getting suspicious.
You know what?
Okay?
But there's a case to be made that if you think he's a second round pick, that you should draft him in the first round anyways to get the extra year of team
you
control.
Remember a year ago at this time, Malik Willis, we were like, oh my God, he might go in the top 10. We didn't know. And where's he going to go? And he just free fell. So I'm calling BS on the Hendon Hooker team.
Okay.
Judd
Sorry,
sniped
Dax.
my prediction, which is fine. I'll have to add to it maybe later on.
Judd has a 4-item XFL parlay for his next one that he's going to swipe from you too.
Ben
So just be
DiNucci
careful.
will-
Head on a
Mike
swivel.
Holmesy of the Chicago Blitz will throw a touchdown pass.
I'll say this one for now, though. Write this down. The Vikings will not take a defensive player with their first pick in the draft.
Okay.
Their first pick in the draft will not be a defensive player.
I love how you're leaving it open for special teams there too. It's a
Hey, you never know.
smart verbiage.
Seabass, you know, he's
First
a
round
draft picker.
Yeah, I love Seabass, man.
Write this down.
All right, write this down. The Vikings will trade Danielle Hunter before week 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
there goes mine.
Everything. Oh, did you have this for this week?
This is my next prediction.
Yes.
Wow, look at this.
We
should
celebrate.
One of mine
should-
was Cook and Hunter. I was going to.
Well, but
you
you're
can
fine.
do that. You can. So
I
the
just
rule
can't
is
do-
you can't make the same prediction in the same week, but you can add something to the prediction if you want to. But I just feel like we've kind of flushed it out. Like he's not going to play on his current contract. The Vikings are very much trying to get younger, 25, 26-year-olds, and they don't have draft capital. And I think there's 2 players on the roster that you would consider trading at all whatsoever that would get you maybe a second-round pick. And Danielle Hunter's one of them. Kirk Cousins would be potentially the other one. So are they gonna cave into the hardball and say, all right, we'll give you $20, $25 million a year as a 29-year-old, 30, 31? Or would they look to trade him for, and it might not happen, it might be like a 2024 second-round pick or something, but that's my logic.
Write it down.
See,
You
Dex?
like writing things down.
Turnabout's fair play.
All right, Jeff, back to you, sir.
All right, so some quick context. I think something that's going on that is an untold story that you're seeing with Lamar Jackson and some other players is that amongst the owners, there are haves and have-nots. I think you guys have touched on this, and you guys talk a lot about the salary cap, but what's really driving a lot of things in the league is that when you give a player guaranteed money in a contract, you have to write that check up front, and it goes into escrow. Right. So like the Haslam who traded for Deshaun Watson and guaranteed his contract, you had to give him a signing bonus, but the other $200 million had to go into an escrow account.
Interesting.
Well, a lot of these owners don't have $200 million sitting around that they can just write a check, especially the old school owners, the Rooneys, Mike Brown and with the Bengals, the Spanos family. When the football team is their business, they don't have that liquidity that the Walmart people who own the Broncos have, or Haslam, who's in oil and gas, or Woody Johnson with the Jets, who's with Johnson & Johnson. You know, they have these other revenue sources and they can tap into that. And so you're going to see these teams like the owner of Baltimore, the owner of the Bengals, they can't write a $200 million guarantee. They just can't. So Haslam unintentionally hosed the Ravens, who are in his division, and Bengals, who have Burrow, right? So write this down. Burrow and Herbert are both eligible for extensions this offseason. Neither is going to get an extension because neither of those families can afford the guaranteed money that they're going to want. So both those franchises are just going to ride them out, ride their 5th year, franchise them then, but you're not going to see an extension for Burrow or Herbert this offseason.
Interesting. I like the
Liquidity
logic.
is important. Liquidity is going to start driving some of this league stuff. The way you have to pay these upfront guarantees. So.
Yeah, I like it. Judd, what's your next prediction?
There are 4 teams eligible to be featured on Hard Knocks in training camp: the Bears, the Saints, Washington, and the Jets. 3 of those teams have said no thank you. The Saints, I think, have stayed quiet about it, but the league's not going to care. This is the NFL. The Jets will be featured on Hard Knocks this season. They're going to say, you are telling us you don't want to be on a show and you have Aaron bleeping Rodgers. Too bad. So the Jets will be featured on Hard Knocks.
Wouldn't it have been great if the Brett Favre Packer Rodgers offseason, if that would have been documented back in 2000, whatever.
You know what?
2008.
The Vikings have still never been on it. The Vikings have never been the Hard Knocks team.
And there's a lot of interesting Viking seasons that would have been great to document. I mean, the Favre season.
Absolutely.
The one where Teddy Bridgewater's knee exploded.
Would have been nuts.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, Dex.
All right, I'll add to this Hendon Hooker prediction. Write this down. Hendon Hooker won't be drafted within the top 45 selections in the draft. So he will be from 46 or on. The first 45 picks will come off the board. Hendon Hooker will not be one of those selections. So he'll be drafted, won't be drafted within the top 45 selections in the NFL draft.
Wow, you guys, a bunch of Hendon Hooker haters. Hendon Hooker haters club here, apparently.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
I'm just calling BS.
All right, I'm gonna paint a first round scenario here. So it's kind of a parlay, Dex.
Okay.
Write this down. The Vikings will trade back, stay in the first round, and draft a wide receiver in the first round. So they'll trade back, stay in the first round, and draft a wide receiver in the first round.
Okay.
All right. And maybe that's risky because there's some wide receiver needy teams behind them too. But if they think that there's a couple guys that they like and they could still leverage and move back and get maybe like an extra third or fourth round pick, I could see
You like writing things down.
that happening. Okay, Jeff, your third and final prediction, sir.
Third and final prediction: the 2024 Vikings QB1. I'm predicting will be one of three people: Will Levis, Hendon Hooker, or Mac Jones.
Oh,
The Mac Jones thing is
supposedly
fascinating.
getting shopped right now. You know, he's got 2 years under his belt. I could even see the Vikings sniffing around him this offseason, bringing him in on a third year of a rookie contract, trading Kirk. And he's had some success. So he and Belichick are kind of button heads, I guess. But
Yeah.
I'm going to say for 2024, the QB1 will be either Levis, Hooker, or Mac Jones.
You know, we haven't talked at all about the Patriots as a Kirk destination. But could you, if you just, let's say it was, I know this is a long shot, reckless speculation, but if you said, all right, Patriots and Vikings, Bill Belichick he just wants someone reliable and accurate who plays the games like a professional. He worked with Tom Brady for 10 years after the age of like 33, right? So he's used to working with veteran, competent quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And he might only have a couple more years of coaching left, and their defense is ready to rock and roll. Could you justify a Mac Jones for Kirk Cousins swap? And the Patriots would keep their first round pick. They could draft Quentin Johnston, have a weapon for Kirk Cousins to throw to. Like, would Kirk waive his no trade to play for Belichick in New England?
No.
I don't know.
No, because Kirk would want an extension.
Well,
Yeah,
But
Patriots-
the
Patriots-
Patriots might give him an extension. All right, cool. Belichick's going to coach for 2 more years. We'll give you a 3-year extension or a 2-year extension on top of the one you have left.
I'd be amazed.
Do you think it's possible that when Kirk had his exit interview this last year and the Vikings didn't give him the 2 years he wanted, that they said to his agent, feel free, if you can go find someone else that's willing to give us a second round pick, if you can negotiate with someone else to find it, you know, maybe it's possible that they're doing that. And I could see New England as an option if they're willing to give him that 2-year extension. I could see it, but they're not big on paying quarterbacks because Brady always took a pay cut. So I don't know.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
personal.
they like the long-term extensions where you could finagle, the salary down each year, and I don't think Kirk would take that from them.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Jeff, dude, great stuff. Since you've got this life-changing platform here right now, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this pinnacle moment on Purple Daily?
Yeah, I'd like to, first thank my family. My sister has had season tickets for, almost 20 years with the Vikings. So I've been able to piggyback on those for a couple games a year, which has been nice. And my mom always wears her Vikings sweatshirt for every game. And then my dad, like I said, he grew up in Wisconsin, but saw the light. And so that's why I'm a Vikings fan. And then I would like to thank you guys. It's being in Austin. It's nice. You guys are a little touch of home, and I'm glad that we get some media that's starting to light a fire under some of these teams. Hold them accountable. I think that's really important. That's great, and I appreciate you guys for what you're doing.
Awesome,
Thank
man.
you.
Jeff, great stuff. Good luck with your predictions, and hopefully we'll see you when you're back in the Twin Cities sometime.
All right, thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, there he is. Guest listener, predictor Jeff, who, as you heard, last year made the trip from Texas. We had people make the trip from Texas, from Atlanta, from California, Florida, all over the place for the draft party. The Surly Park Tavern draft party this year. It's going to be at Park Tavern in St. Louis Park. And we're going to be there. Purple Daily streaming live on YouTube throughout the entire first round of the draft, which starts at 7. We're going to be there for sure starting at 6, just hanging out with people. My guess is probably even before that. So come on over, swing by, enjoy one night only, the return of the Surly Before I Die on tap, Judd Zulgad.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. Now, Before I Die, just to be clear, will return in the fall, but it has been shelved for now. But yes, on April 27th, Park Tavern, St. Louis Park, off of Louisiana Avenue, it is coming back for one evening on tap. I think we might have some cans as well, but yeah, it's going to be a great time, and we're going to enjoy some really good beer.
Yeah, so we want to meet and see as many of you as possible on April 27th, the first night of the draft. It's the second annual draft party. Purple Daily is looking forward to being there. Also, a shout out to our friends at the Meadows at Mystic. Today is kind of a crappy weather day in the Twin Cities, but the golf weather is on the horizon. Mustached Declan Goff.
Yeah, my God. I want to get this guy out on the course. If I'm going to shoot 100, I at least want to look like this. That's always been my motto when I'm golfing. I'm going to look good. And with this stash, I'm looking good. And I'll be looking good at the Meadows at Mystic Lake, an award-winning 18-hole public golf course. You can save with the frequent player card. You can save on rounds. And the big sell is that you have access to tee times 3 weeks in advance. So the Meadows is one of the nicer places. Those tee times can fill up. Well, you can go get one of those frequent player cards at golfthemeadows.com, and you can secure your tee times in advance. It's one of the best places to play a round of golf. Go check out the Meadows at Mystic Lake and book your tee time at golfthemeadows.com.
All right, boys.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Final lap around the room here for this week's predictions. We have another interesting mock to get to as well. So, Judd, what is your third and final prediction?
Third and final prediction is this. So a year ago in the draft, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah in his first draft with the Vikings did not make a pick at where the Vikings were in any slot. He traded, wheeled, and dealed. They only have 5 picks right now, and I'm convinced they're going to do the exact same thing. So write this down. The Vikings will not make any of their scheduled slotted picks that they go into the draft with on draft night or through the weekend. So they've got 5 picks. They're all set in certain places, starting with 23 for the first round. When it's all said and done, they won't have made one pick at where they were originally. Wow. Does that make sense, Declan?
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of trumps
a year ago.
Similar prediction that's not as aggressive. I have to decide if I want to be a coward. And
yeah, you know what? If you need to be a coward, if you need to, shy away from a ballsy prediction, you do so.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, Trader Quace.
All right, write this down. Last one for me. The first 2 picks of the draft this year will not be quarterback. So seeing a lot of mocks, obviously, that have quarterback going off number 1. Quarterback could go off number 2.
Interesting.
I'm saying it's not going to play out that way.
Wow. Okay.
So it will not be quarterback, respectively, in the first 2 picks of the NFL draft.
Off the record, what do you think happens? What do you think throws that pattern off?
I think one of these teams ends up just not taking a QB, or one of these teams doesn't want the second quarterback off the board. They don't want to be that guy. They want to take the best player available that helps them out now. And I just don't think it's going to go quarterback, respectively. That's where I'm at here.
Okay. Yeah, pretty ballsy.
Pretty ballsy. Put some billboards.
Okay. Well, my prediction was going to be Kwesi will complete at least 3 trades in the draft. But Judd basically just said, you kind of said he's going to complete at least 5 trades. Although there's other ways he could. Yeah.
Sure. But he's just going to move around constantly.
Okay. You know what, then? I'm going to say I'll up it. Because what makes it? Because Judd's prediction is probably a touchdown,
right?
It's
a humongous touchdown. Yes, he's literally saying the 5 selections won't be made in those original 5 selections. I think that's a massive touchdown.
So if I up it from 3 to 5, what if I say Kwesi will complete at least 5 trades within the draft? Is that also a touchdown?
Yeah,
because they have 5. Judd's saying the same thing. Or he's saying they have 5 picks.
Yeah, I'm saying the picks, but I'd say they're both touchdowns.
Okay, mm-hmm. So he's going to complete at least 5 trades in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, write it down. That's
Write it down. You like writing things down.
So there you go. Those are the weekly predictions. The only show in America that actually keeps track of our predictions with statistics. As foolish as that may be for our credibility in our careers, you can really see how wrong we are. Just a quick update for the audience here. And Dex, maybe if you have anything you want to add to this, but Realistic Randy sent us a note the other day, and hopefully he's going to be okay. But he's going through some health issues, and he just wants all of the Purple Daily audience to know that he's going to step away from his Purple Daily weekly Realistic Randy Rants with Declan show. This dude has been a regular presence on Mackie and Judd on Purple Daily for like 8 or 9 years going back. He was one of the OG Vikings vent line callers, and he's just going through some health issues right now, and we hope to get him back in the mix at some point, but we're just we're here to support him, and he wanted the audience to know that he's kind of going through it right now. And yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything, Declan, but you're not. If you're wondering where's the Realistic Randy episode this week, he's going to take some time off from the show. Yeah,
I obviously wishing the best for him, and he has an amazing YouTube channel that he gets some great Vikings content, does some great comedy skits. I've loved working with Realistic Randy. Obviously, I have to work with these two bozos every day, so getting to talk with a couple other guys, another Vikings fan has been great. Just personally for me. Love jiving with Realistic Randy, too. He's got some reckless ideas that I love to get into, just like we love to do here on Purple Daily and Score North. So we're thinking about him. But yeah, go subscribe to his channel, too, for some great Vikings content. Hopefully we get him back here. I love talking to him after games on Mondays. Love talking about the future with him. Wish him the best.
Yep. So, boys, one more thing here before we wrap today's episode of Purple Daily.
I want a mock.
We have, dude, NFL.com just has an army of mockers. They've got Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah. They've got Cynthia Freeland, the analytics gal. You got Eric Edholm and Charles Davis and Lance Zierleins 3.0.
Ooh, Lance.
Hot off the presses. All right, so Lance is a very prominent mocker. In fact, Lance does, I think, most of the write-ups, like the scouting write-ups on all the players. So when we go through and read so-and-so has oily hips that he uses
So he's their Thor.
to out-leverage wide receivers. Yeah, he's pretty much their version of Thor.
Okay.
So he knows his stuff from a scouting standpoint. And here's what he has for his 3.0 mock. Bryce Young going number 1 to the Panthers. And oh, look at this. Old Dex tweets. Tyree Wilson, edge rusher, to the Houston Texans, number 2.
Oh, really?
Interesting. Are we? Okay. Is this like a Randy and Cottage Grove situation where we got Randy ripping
looking?
From Walter Football and Dex is ripping from Lance Zierlein?
I just think the Texans the Texans have Davis Mills and that large neck. You know, they're going to commit to him for another year, I think.
So
we can't
did
move
you
off
see
that
this
guy. He's
and
got a
decide
big
that
neck.
looks like a good idea and decide to make that? Because I mean,
No.
it's not plagiarism in this case.
Well,
What
you know,
Randy did was objectionable. But
with you
not
and with your Hendon Hooker steam, with just like I had, you know, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it with all these mocks that have back-to-back quarterbacks.
I just asking if this influenced you. I'm no implication here. No, I'm just asking.
So this is the first time in many, many mocks that we've seen something other than 2 quarterbacks going off the board here, right? Arizona Cardinals taking Will Anderson Jr. Baltimore Ravens now trading up for C.J. Stroud at number 4.
Whoa.
Trading with the Colts. If a trade is going to get done for Lamar Jackson, you would think Baltimore would like it to happen before the draft, especially if the deal is with the Colts. So they're basically saying Lamar Jackson and the 4th overall pick, right? Or no, I'm sorry. What am I? Lamar Jackson to the Colts, and then the 4th overall pick to Baltimore,
right.
And then there'd be other picks involved.
The Ravens would get the next 2 selections of the first round from the Colts. So they'd get this year's, next year's, plus Lamar. Yeah, I mean, it would be a steal.
And then we've got Jalen Carter to the Seahawks, Will Levis to the Texans at 7. So they would then, that's interesting. They would still get a quarterback at 7 there. I'm going to scroll down here. Where's Anthony Richardson? There he is, falling to the Patriots at 14.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's beef between Belichick and Mac Jones. In this scenario, the Patriots look to deal Jones for a draft pick and then choose to develop the dynamic but raw Richardson. Let's keep scrolling here. Okay. Interesting. We get to the 23rd pick. It's not the Vikings. Projected trade.
Lance.
The Buffalo Bills move up to 23 and select Bijan Robinson, the Texas running back. Buffalo can smell the Super Bowl, and the best way to get there might be to jump up and lock in a 3-down back who can take pressure off Josh Allen and help the Bills control games more efficiently. And so that brings us to, I'm going to scroll down here to pick number 27, where the Vikings now sit. We don't know what the value is, but they probably pick up like an extra 3rd or 4th round pick to do this, right?
Right.
And according to Landzeerline, the Vikings, with the 27th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, select out of the University of Arkansas linebacker Drew Sanders.
Yeah, it's great. It's at this point that
They traded back. They got some value.
Yeah,
they traded
well,
back.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I know. But is that really the position that you're going to address in the first round?
Here's what Lance writes. Sanders spent 1 season at inside linebacker and absolutely filled up the stat sheet at Arkansas. He's a big and solid athlete. He can be a capable pass rusher for Minnesota as well when needed. So
all right.
They do need a good, young, versatile linebacker because they might not have any. We're kind of crowning Brian Asamoah before he's really ever done anything.
Sure. Well, but I hope he can. He's what, a second-round pick? Like if he...
Asamoah?
Yeah.
He's a 4th-round pick, right?
I thought he was a second-round pick.
Let's go to the tape here.
Yeah.
He was a 4th-round pick.
Let's go to the tape here.
Well, you might be right then.
Did you think he was a 2nd-round pick the whole time, and that's why you've been pumping his tires? Does him being a 4th-round pick change your opinion?
No, he's still a high draft pick. He's still a relatively high draft pick. 3rd round.
I don't
pick.
know.
We're all wrong. I just looked it up.
All right, he was the 66th overall pick.
He's a 3rd round pick. We're all wrong. Okay, he's not a 2nd. He's not a 4th. He's a 3rd round pick. Anyway,
shows how much we know. Daily Vikings entertainment.
Yeah, Daily Vikings entertainment.
Daily.
You know, there's a lot to keep track of here, folks. There's a lot to keep track of. But anyway, my point is for either the short or long term, I don't know that a linebacker that late in the 1st round excites me as much. I would just think that there would be positions that I would rather draft at. I'm not talking about for 2023. I'm talking about 23 and beyond. So that's my point.
This would be an eat your vegetables kids type of a pick here.
Yeah, and you know what? To your point, Phil, if you get more picks, like that's the thing too. So like if you're going to get 2 more picks, there's probably a discussion there.
Yeah. Speaking of eating your vegetables, kids, Livia is here to help you get on a better track for losing weight.
Yeah, you know what? Spring is finally going to be here. I know it officially started a while back, but that's a bunch of BS because it didn't really start because it's been cold outside. It's been hard to get outside. It's been hard to exercise. And you're probably like I was, and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and perhaps you're seeing the guy on the left. And then you're thinking to yourself, but how do I get to look like the guy on the right? Because I mean, that is how
we're
you
all
want to
thinking
look.
that earlier.
Aren't you all thinking that? I mean,
that.
aside from Declan's mustache, which is just fantastic, you're thinking the guy on the right is nearly the ideal shape for what I want to be. And I'm going to tell you how you get in that shape. It starts with my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers, who have a plan for you not only to lose the weight, but keep the weight off, because that's the most important thing. The plan to lose the weight is actually very simple. It's very successful. But just as importantly, the dietitians, the experts at Livia will help you then keep that weight off. And you know what? The first 8 weeks right now are free. Yeah, that's right. First 8 weeks free. 855-GO-LIVIA, livia.com, LIVEA.com. That is your 1st round draft pick when it comes to losing the weight.
Awesome. All right, boys. Good session here. Good session. Write that down, and an accountability session. Add another mock. We're up over 40 collected mocks here. That's the 2nd time a linebacker has gone to the Vikings in the 41 mocks that we have done so far. 4 quarterbacks, or maybe 5, and a bunch of wide receivers. So we'll keep keeping tabs on it. And we're looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible on April 27th at Park Tavern in St. Louis Park. 6 o'clock is when the doors technically open. 7 o'clock is when the draft starts and when we start to stream on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. So thank you, everyone, for helping make this one of the most listened to and watched football podcasts in America. We'll see you tomorrow on Purple Daily.